1976. Medellin, Colombia. What will become one of the world's most vicious criminal organizations is born. The Medellin Cartel. The cartel will rise to dominate the world's cocaine market, killing as many as 50,000 along the way.
Pablo Escobar, Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar, helped create and run the notorious Medellin cartel and was responsible for killing thousands of people. Pablo Escobar was a Colombian drug trafficker who collaborated with other criminals to form the Medellin cartel in the early 1970s. Eventually, he controlled over 80% of the cocaine shipped to the United States, earning the nickname the King of Cocaine. He amassed an estimated net worth of $30 billion and was named one of the 10 richest people on Earth by Forbes. He earned popularity by sponsoring charity projects and soccer clubs, but later, terror campaigns that resulted in the murder of thousands turned public opinion against him. After surrendering to the Colombian authorities in 1991, Escobar escaped detainment in 1992 and was a fugitive until his dramatic death in December 1993. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria was born on December 1, 1949, in the Colombian city of Rio Negro, Antioquia. His family later moved to the suburb of Envigado. He was the third of 7 children born in poverty to a schoolteacher mother and a peasant farmer father. From an early age, Escobar packed a unique ambition to raise himself up from his humble beginnings and dreamed of becoming the president of Colombia one day. Escobar reportedly began his life of crime early, stealing tombstones and selling phony diplomas. It wasn't long before he started stealing cars, then moving into the smuggling business. Escobar's early prominence came during the Marlboro Wars, in which he played a high-profile role in the control of Colombia's smuggled cigarette market. This episode proved to be a valuable training ground for the future narcotics kingpin. Establishing the Medellin cartel. It wasn't by chance that Colombia came to dominate the cocaine trade. Beginning in the early 1970s, the country became a prime smuggling ground for marijuana. But as the cocaine market flourished, Colombia's geographical location proved to be its biggest asset. Situated at the northern tip of South America, between the thriving coca cultivation epicenters of Peru and Bolivia, the country came to dominate the global cocaine trade with the United States, the biggest market for the drug, in just a short trip to the north. Escobar, who had already been involved in organized crime for a decade at this point, moved quickly to grab control of the cocaine trade. In 1975, the drug trafficker Fabio Restrepo from the city of Medellin, Colombia, was murdered. It was widely believed his death came at the orders of Escobar, who immediately seized power and expanded Restrepo's operation into something the world had never seen. Under Escobar's leadership, large amounts of coca paste were purchased in Bolivia and Peru, then processed and transported to America. Escobar worked with a small group to form the infamous Medellin cartel. Also around this time, Escobar started a family with his marriage to Maria Victoria Henao, who was 11 years his junior and still a teenager at the time of their 1976 wedding. They went on to have 2 children, rapid rise in power. Escobar's rapid rise brought him to the attention of the Departamento Administrativo de Seguridad DAS, who arrested him in May 1976 upon his return from a drug trafficking trip in Ecuador. Authorities found 39 kilograms of cocaine hidden in the spare tire of his truck. Escobar escaped the charges by bribing a judge, and the 2 DAS agents responsible for his arrest were killed the next year, according to Mark Bowden's book, Killing Pablo. Around this time, Escobar developed his signature pattern of dealing with authorities called plata o plomo, Spanish for silver or lead, in which they could accept bribes or be assassinated, according to Bowden. In 1978, Escobar spent millions to purchase 20 square kilometers of land in Antioquia, Colombia, where he built his luxury estate Hacienda Nápoles. It contained a sculpture garden, lake, private bull ring, and other amenities for his family and members of the cartel. It also featured a collection of luxury cars and bikes, as well as a zoo with antelope, elephants, giraffes, hippos, ponies, ostriches, and exotic birds. After Escobar's death, it was turned into a theme park. Today, the hippo population, which traces back to Escobar's original transplants, has swelled in the country, causing environmental destruction and providing tourism opportunities. Escobar's lush and expansive estate, known as Hacienda Nápoles, included a zoo filled with exotic animals and large sculptures of dinosaurs in one of its gardens. As the demand for cocaine grew in the United States, Escobar established additional smuggling shipments and distribution networks in various locations. That included establishing a shipment base on a private island in the Bahamas with the help of Cartel co-founder Carlos Leder. By the mid-1980s, Escobar had an estimated net worth of $30 billion and was named one of the 10 richest people on Earth by Forbes. Cash was so prevalent that Escobar purchased a Learjet for the sole purpose of flying his money. At the time, Escobar controlled more than 80% of the cocaine smuggled into the United States. More than 15 tons were reportedly smuggled each day, netting the Medellin cartel as much as $420 million a week. As Escobar's fortune and fame grew, he dreamed to be seen as a leader. In some ways, he positioned himself as a Robin Hood-like figure. A description was echoed by many locals. By spending money to expand social programs for the poor. He spent millions to develop Medellin's poor neighborhoods, where its residents felt he helped them far more than the government ever had. He built roads, electric lines, soccer fields, roller skating rinks, and more, and paid the workers in his cocaine labs enough money that they could afford houses and cars, according to Bowden. Presidential election posters for Pablo Escobar grace a street in Bogotá, Colombia. Still harboring his youthful ambition to become the nation's president, Escobar entered politics and supported the formation of the Liberal Party of Colombia. In 1982, he was elected as an alternate member of Colombia's Congress, but Minister of Justice Rodrigo Lara Bonilla investigated him and highlighted the illegal means by which he had obtained his wealth, forcing Escobar to resign 2 years after his election. A few months later, Lara Bonilla was murdered, according to the book Kings of Cocaine by Guy Gugliotta and Jeff Lean. A large body count Escobar was responsible for the killing of thousands of people, including politicians, civil servants, journalists, and ordinary citizens. When he realized that he had no shot of becoming Colombia's president, and with the United States pushing for his capture and extradition, Escobar unleashed his fury on his enemies in the hopes of influencing Colombian politics. His goal was a no extradition clause and amnesty for drug barons in exchange for giving up the trade. Escobar's terror campaign claimed the lives of 3 Colombian presidential candidates, an attorney general, scores of judges, and more than 1,000 police officers. In addition, Escobar was implicated as the mastermind behind the bombing of a Colombian jetliner. In November 1989, Escobar arranged for a bomb to be planted on Avianca Flight 203, a domestic passenger flight, as part of an assassination attempt against one of his political enemies, presidential candidate Cesar Gaviria Trujillo. He missed the flight and avoided injury, but the bomb detonated and killed all 107 people on board. 9 days after the airplane bombing, more than 50 people were killed and more than 2,200 were injured when a truck bomb detonated outside a DAS building in Bogotá, Colombia. The Medellin cartel was also believed to be responsible for this attack. Escobar's terror eventually turned public opinion against him. Escobar's luxury prison. By the 1990s, Escobar was facing increasing pressure from the administration of President Cesar Gaviria, particularly after Escobar's alleged assassination of presidential candidate Luis Carlos Galán in 1989. In June 1991, Escobar negotiated a surrender to Gaviria's government in exchange for a reduced sentence and preferential treatment during his captivity. A law at the time prevented his extradition to the United States. Escobar built his own luxury prison called La Catedral, which was guarded by men he handpicked from among his employees. Often called Hotel Escobar, the prison came with a casino, spa, nightclub, football field, jacuzzi, waterfall, and giant dollhouse. In June 1992, however, Escobar escaped when authorities attempted to move him to a more standard holding facility. A manhunt for the drug lord, with help from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, was launched that would last 16 months. During that time, the monopoly of the Medellin cartel which had begun to crumble during Escobar's imprisonment as police raided offices and killed its leaders, rapidly deteriorated.